Parvati was Shiva's beloved wife. One day, Parvati posted Shiva's attendant Nandi, the bull, at her door. She gave him definite instructions not to let anyone in while she was taking a bath. A little later, Shiva arrived. Nandi was in a dilemma. "How can I stop Shiva?" said Nandi to himself. So Shiva walked in. Parvati was not ready to receive him. She was quite disturbed and wondered why Nandi did not stop him. She complained to Shiva that Nandi deliberately disobeyed her. Shiva didn't take the matter too seriously. Shiva was amused that his wife had instructed her attendant to stop him from entering. Parvati was annoyed. She shared her thoughts with her friends. They supported her, saying, "None of the ganas or attendants can be called her own. All the attendants consider Shiva to be their true master." One of her friends came up with an idea. "Why don't you create a person who will owe his first allegiance to you and not to Shiva?" So Parvati gathered the saffron paste from her own body and created a boy. When she finished, she gazed in admiration at her own creation. "How handsome he is," she said. "How strong he looks." Parvati brought life to the boy she had created and hugged him dearly. "You are my son, my very own son," she said. "I have no one else to call my own. Now take this staff and follow me." She led him to the door and ordered, "Stand here and let no one enter without my permission." A little later, Shiva arrived. He asked his ganas, "Who could that boy be?" They said, "We have never seen the boy before." When Shiva approached to enter, the boy stopped him. "Halt! No one enters without my mother's permission." Shiva was taken aback. "Foolish boy, do you know who I am? Move out of my way right now." Without uttering a word, the youth struck Shiva with his staff. Shiva was furious. Shiva shouted, "Fool! I am Shiva, Parvati's husband. How dare you forbid me to enter my own home?" But the youth did not answer back. Instead, he raised his staff and hit Shiva once again. Shiva finally left the palace and asked his attendants to throw the boy out before he returns. The ganas found it amusing and asked the boy to leave. The youth was puzzled. He was not sure he should take up a fight with Shiva's attendants, which may make the matter worse. In the meantime, Parvati heard the commotion and asked her friend to find out what was going on. The friend returned with the news. "Your son is ready to fight with Shiva's attendants." Shiva was annoyed when he was stopped from entering the palace. Parvati hesitated for a moment. "Shiva is, after all, my husband. But why did he try to force his way in? I should have my privacy." The friend returned to the puzzled boy and said, "Your mother says that you should not allow anyone to enter." The boy shed his doubts and declared to the ganas, "I am the son of Parvati. I will obey my mother's orders and give up my life to carry it out. Please don't try to enter. Go and tell your lord that he cannot enter the palace without my mother's permission." Now the ganas were puzzled. What should they do in this family quarrel? They humbly approached Shiva and said, "The boy refuses to let you in without his mother Parvati's permission." Shiva was very thoughtful. "Now the world will laugh if I let the boy disobey my orders." He called his ganas and said, "It will not be proper to allow the boy to drive us off. It will prove our incompetence. So engage in a battle and capture him. This will not be difficult." But none of the ganas, nor even Shiva, realized the boy's strength. When Nandi was beaten and all the ganas were beaten up, they ran for their lives. The boy once again took his post at the door. Shiva was terribly annoyed. Brahma spoke to Shiva and tried to pacify him. The sages approached the gate and tried to tell the boy how wrong he was in disobeying Lord Shiva. Annoyed, the boy jumped over one of the sages and pulled off his beard. The sages tried to explain, "We have not come here to fight. We have come here to make peace. Please listen." "Get out of here," was the only answer, "or else I will lay you flat on the ground with my staff." The sages ran for their lives. They came to Lord Shiva, and that added greater fury to Shiva's hurt pride. He was badly humiliated. He asked Indira to defeat the boy before taking matters into his own hands. Indira's army could not overcome the courage and strength of the valiant boy. Parvati became increasingly furious. She asked her other forms of power, Kali and Durga, to stand beside her son. The fight spread in all directions. Indira felt helpless. His army was totally smashed. Shiva went into deep meditation to invoke his strength. Then he picked up his trident and walked to the battleground. He saw the gods lying wounded on the ground. The boy had not a scratch on his body. Shiva called Vishnu for help. Shiva was waiting for the right moment. Suddenly, he lost his bow. Parvati's boy bravely confronted both Vishnu and Shiva. While Vishnu and the boy fought, Shiva beheaded him with his trident. The boy's head rolled off his shoulder. Shiva now realized his mistake. It was surely not a fair fight. When Parvati learned of her son's unfair death, she was ready to destroy the world. Brahma regretfully approached Parvati, seeking her mercy to save the world. Parvati agreed on one condition. My son should regain his life and should be worshipped before any of the other gods. They came to Shiva and put forth Parvati's condition. Shiva, who was repenting his rash behavior, agreed to bring the boy back to life. He said to Brahma, "Go north and bring the head of the first creature that crosses your path." Brahma and his party immediately left and met a powerful single-tusked elephant. The head of the elephant was immediately severed and brought back near the boy. Brahma fitted the elephant head to the body of the boy. Soon the boy sat up. Parvati took the boy on her lap and looked at Brahma to assure her of the second condition. Her son would be worshipped before any other gods or goddesses. At that time, Indira and the other gods led Shiva to her. Shiva regretted what had happened. He bowed before Parvati and said, "Parvati, forgive me and my arrogance. This valiant boy shall be my son. He will be respected as any other god. He will be called Ganesh, the presiding officer of all my Ganas. Ganesh will be worthy of worship forever. He will also be called Vigneshwara, the queller of all obstacles." Shiva and Parvati once again began to live happily in their abode at Mount Kailash. Today, before any venture is undertaken, it is Ganesh who is invoked and whose blessings are sought. तेरी दया को मैंने पाया, तेरी कृपा